This is the Throttle Out Show, presented by Vixen Industries, the only show where monster truck drivers and mechanics come together to present what's happening in the monster truck community. It's the ultimate combination of torque, horsepower, and trash talk. And now for your hosts. First, straight out of the heart of Detroit Rock City, it's Kid Rock's neighbor and former driver of the BKT ride truck. It's Austin Spence. And the duo deep in the heart of Texas, it's the show owner and daughter of a man who conquered the industry for over 20 years. It's Harley Johnson, along with everyone's favorite Bryce Kenny lookalike, Austin Tweedy. So go ahead, fuel up, strap in, and remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
How's it going, everybody? It's Sunday. Welcome to the Throttle Out Show. My name is Austin Spence, and I'm actually joined with my significant other, Miss Katie Spence. We just celebrated our 1-year wedding anniversary today, and wanted to bring you on the show as just kind of like a celebration of us. I mean, we kind of had an eventful day today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We sure did. We did a lot today.
Not enough, honestly. Nothing monster truck related. I mean,
No.
there's nothing monster truck related going on up here in Michigan. But I know the other couple down there in Texas had an eventful weekend in the world of monster trucks. So I guess we should bring those guys on. What's going on, Tweety and Harley? What's going on, guys?
Hey guys.
Oh, you're talking about us. Oh, okay.
You too.
So before we kind of get completely into tonight's shenanigans, obviously we're going to want to talk about Monster Jam and all the knickknacks and everything and monster trucks. But I feel like one of the big things in this industry that a lot of people do not understand and realize is the stuff that kind of goes on at home. And, you know, when I kind of first started going into Monster Jam and people knew that, you know, I was with somebody, there was a lot of people who were like, yeah, you guys are not going to last long. Like, don't give your hopes up keeping a girlfriend or fiance or whatever, because the travel in this industry, it takes a strain on a relationship.
I guess so. I
mean,
guess so.
You kind of saw it as a mini vacation whenever I was
did.
gone.
I enjoyed my alone time. I can't even lie. It's like, oh, you're gone for 6 months? Oh,
well, it wasn't.
I'll see you when you come back.
It wasn't 6 months. I think the longest consecutive period of time that I was gone for was, I believe, 3 months when I did the California tour.
3 or 4.
And that was when my appendix decided to.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, it's so
it was
awesome.
A great time.
Your fiance on the other side of the country, and my insides decided to almost burst.
Yeah, I felt that too because I called him dramatic for like a week.
I was actually part of all that. That was tough seeing you like that, man.
It really was. Now, one of the things I kind of want to talk about, really, because it is our anniversary, and obviously you two played a big part in our wedding, honestly, and you know, Tweety especially, you really stepped up to the plate when it came to our actual wedding day, because for those that don't know, the person who was supposed to be my best man decided not to show up. So I didn't have anybody to do a best man speech, and Tweety actually stepped up and, you know, kind of took that role without really me asking, because we have a group chat which nobody responded to, by the way.
Nobody.
None of the groomsmen were good at responding about anything. Like, there's a group chat for a reason, yet they would text me individually because, oh my God forbid that anybody talks in this group. And I'm just like, yeah, so I don't really have a groomsman, or I don't exactly have a best man per se. So if anybody wants to give a speech, feel free. And you were the only one that was able to, you know, step up. So, which meant a lot. It really did.
He should have just listened to me in the first place.
Yeah. She was the one that's like, you should have just made Tweety your best man. I'm like, yeah, I really should have.
You know. It's okay.
Looking back,
It was an absolute blast for us as well. It got us away. I mean, Harley just moved to Texas with me, but it got me away from Texas for whatever the weekend. And I mean, I will never forget y'all's wedding. That was an absolute blast. We're involved at your wedding.
Yeah, so I kind of want to touch on that. So the monster truck being at our wedding was not planned at all.
No.
Like, it was completely out of just, you know, the Acton camps just being the good people that they are, and just completely surprised us. And when I saw, just to kind of give you guys some context. So the night before, I stayed at the hotel that was literally down the road from the venue. And, I was talking to Little Denver Actor Camp the Third, just kind of going back and forth, like how long they were going to be there. And they were asking like very specific times and what everything was going on for those ceremonies.
You were asking me these times too. And I'm like, why does it matter? Like I sent you a schedule.
Yeah. And we're just like, what, why exactly? I'm like, maybe they're on a time crunch. Maybe there's like a show or something going on that they need to hurry up and get to. And it was about 1:00 in the morning that I'm talking to Denver. You already went to bed because you had to be at the venue the very next day.
At like 5 in the morning.
At like 5 a.m. to get ready and everything. And I'm just like, why are they asking so specifically for these schedules? I'm like, they had to have just brought their work truck. So I look out in the parking lot of the hotel I'm staying at because they stay at the same one. And lo and behold, there's a green Volvo with a hauler trailer that says Venom on the back. And my heart like drops a little bit. I'm torn between excited to, it's like, holy crap, this is awesome. And I may not be getting married tomorrow.
Well, here's the thing. I had been like no modern monster trucks. I'm like, we could have like an old school one there, but nothing modern. I didn't want anything modern there, but you can continue your story. So, that was just an important detail.
Yeah, because we were having a barn wedding. Like we wanted a very nostalgic barn wedding. We didn't want no, church standard wedding BS. We wanted something completely different. So we found this old cute barn out in the middle of Brooklyn, Michigan, and it was awesome. But we did not tell the venue owners or anything about this happening. So the very next morning, Tweety, you were there because we had a breakfast with all the groomsmen at the Big Boy just down the road from. Yeah, we literally had we had a groomsmen breakfast at a Big Boy, and the actor camps just kind of show up. I'm like, is the monster truck in the trailer? Like, did you guys bring the truck? And they just have smug's look on their face. Like, maybe. They're like, where can we put it? I'm like, I guess anywhere. I mean, it's screw it. It's a surprise. Let's just roll with it. So they park the hauler. And again, Katie and all the bridesmaids are there at the venue as they pull in onto the grass with a semi truck and trailer.
Well, actually, at that point, I was getting my hair done. I wasn't at the venue. It was just a handful of my friends that were there. And I think you called me a whole bunch of times because it was just getting set up.
Yeah, because I wanted to let you know, like, I had nothing to do with this. I did go behind your back because I know this is, like, there's a lot of time and money and planning into this. And it's just like, surprise, there's a monster truck. Oliver, don't you dare.
Our cat just decided
don't
to
you
join
dare.
us.
Don't you dare. I will throw my hat at you. Thank you.
Beat you to it. Sucker.
Mission averted. We need to get spray bottles. But anyway. So the truck is there, and I'm just like, I may or may not be getting married today because my wife specifically really didn't want monster trucks to be there. But it turns out a lot of people were like, we would be surprised if there wasn't one at your wedding. And it turned out to be a huge hit. Everyone enjoyed it. But your hairdresser was terrified.
Yeah. The guy who was doing our hair and makeup actually thought that the truck was going to go through the side of the barn. He really thought that was going to be his last moments doing.
I mean, what a way to go, though.
I guess so. If I had to choose a way, that'd be pretty cool.
We did kind of get in trouble a little bit because during the whole ceremony, after the ceremony and in the reception, you guys were dancing with the DJ. Then all of the guys were just outside with the truck.
All of them.
Yes, we were. Every one of them.
Yes, we were.
But so we actually it is our 1 year marriage anniversary, but on the 14th we've actually been together for 8 years.
Yes.
We met when I was going to UNOH down in Lima. We just kind of just met and we were just friends, just like I didn't know the area, I didn't know anybody, and you just kind of showed me around. And then when I actually asked you, it's like, hey, could we like start dating? You're just kind of like, I kind of thought we already were. Like, oh, well, let's just make it official then. But looking back to now, like, is there any stories with like kind of dragging you into this industry, of the magical world of monster trucks that really stick out to you?
Probably back in, what year was that? Was it 2018 when we did a doubleheader weekend?
Oh, yeah. So we kind of no, it would have been prior to 18. No, maybe it was 18 or 17.
I think it was before we moved to Florida in 2018.
So we call it a doubleheader. Basically, Toughest Monster Truck Tour was doing a show in Saginaw, and Monster Jam was doing a show in Detroit the same exact weekend. And I couldn't make up my mind on choosing either or to go. So we just ended up going to both.
Yeah.
Both are which, at least an hour and a half to 2 hours away from Jackson. And we went to both shows both days. So, I mean, it was a ton of fun. But I was like, she's going to leave me because I'm dragging her to all these damn shows. But you've had a blast every single time.
Oh, yeah. Every single time. There's always something to keep me entertained. If it's not the trucks, usually it's the people. But I have a great time every single time we go. I think overall, in all of the monster truck shows I've been to, I always have more fun at the independent shows. I don't know what it is.
Because it's more local. It's the people like of the community, not just a giant gathering of just like you would see in Detroit. I mean, we definitely enjoy the independent side way more. But the very first show, because you were part of this when I got to work at my very first show, and it was with the Venom team at the 4-Wheel Jamboree.
This is true.
And I wanted to bring her with me, but I wanted to leave a very good impression with the acting camps where it's like, I don't want to bring my girlfriend with me. I got to look professional. Like, I'm so nervous. Like, this is my future. This is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. And like, I remember being an absolute asshole to you, like going to the fairgrounds because I'm like,
stranded me there at 3 a.m.
Yeah. Well, because I was
my mom to come take me home.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I wanted to learn. Like this was new to me. I wanted to learn. Of course, there's another cat that jumps on the table.
There it is.
In our defense, I did shut the door.
Here you go.
Okay.
Take this one.
I will. Anyway, sorry.
We have a lot of cats in case anybody you guys didn't know. But anyway, so I got to learn with the Ectoring camps about like working on the trucks. And all I did was just tie her up and wipe the truck down. I mean, the Jamboree in Lima, it's always going to rain. But I was so nervous about having my girlfriend tagging along as I was working on the trucks that you ended up just hitting it off with Denver's wife, Angie. Oh, yeah. And you guys were like buddy the whole weekend.
Oh, yeah. I still consider Angie a good friend. I haven't seen her in quite a while, but we're like a little family, It was like our monster truck family. That's what we called them for a really long time. So.
It really was. It was so awesome just to have that experience. And then, at the end of the show, like you said, it was getting late, but, there's a couple other trucks. I mean, you had the Bigfoot, the Hall brothers. I actually remember Denver losing a tire, and I think he actually took a loaner tire from the Hall brothers that show.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was fun.
I don't know if that was that show, if that was Indianapolis.
No, it was definitely Lima, because Indianapolis, like, we missed the first show, and I got that famous picture from Little Denver of like 20 people literally pushing a monster truck because I guess they didn't have a skid steer to move it around with.
I remember now.
So yeah, I mean, we've been on so many damn adventures, and then
so many.
Wouldn't change it. I mean, we got to go to
some pretty fun things happen because of monster trucks. So I can never say that I'm not a huge fan because they've really impacted my life. And what a weird thing to say, how monster trucks have impacted my life. Never would have thought. But here I am.
Well, I feel like I've been talking too much. Are you guys going to say anything, or is this just the Spence episode?
We're running there right now, man.
I mean, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I wouldn't trade it with anybody else. I just think it's very funny now that we're on the topic of marriage and stuff. Joe Sylvester and Gabby Stubbs, they tied the knot as well, actually the day before our anniversary. So kind of a big congrats to those guys with the Outlaw Tour, tying the knot and everything, which, by the way, I wish I would have thought about this. I don't know if you saw this, Tweety. They had a giant metal plate. It's on his story if you guys ever want to check it out.
I know exactly what
it's a giant metal plate of a heart that's completely cut in half, and there's a picture of both of them like holding the welding torch and putting it together.
Oh yeah, that was really
that's
clever.
So cool. But I know for a fact we would have burned ourselves.
So yeah, my wedding dress would have caught on fire. It would have been a spectacle. Honestly, probably would have forgotten the welding jacket.
That was a slick move. That was classy, and their wedding, their setup. I mean, they both looked awesome. It looks like they had a great day. So congratulations to Joey and Gabby. We wish y'all the best and a lifetime full of happiness.
We're just waiting on your guys' invite. When the hell your wedding's going to happen?
Well, when we get our own invite, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, do you got to take off, or you want to stick around for the episode?
I'm afraid cats are going to keep coming in here if I'm in here. They follow me.
Clearly.
So I think I'll take off, but I will be enjoying the show from Facebook. So, do you see what Denver just said?
We let Spence help because Katie was coming.
That makes sense.
Actually, yeah, at the last show, I don't know if it was the last show we did with them, but you put a toter tire on.
I sure did.
In the mud, too.
In the mud. I had to. I've been to so many shows, and that was the first time I ever got to work. Well, not really work on a truck, but help out other than just taking pictures. So,
well, next time you're going to help do a transmission change. How about that?
Oh, sure, yeah. I guess tiny hands are good for some things.
They are. I mean, I can't get into certain places.
Anyway.
All right. Well, take Mischief, and we're going to talk about Monster Jam. Woo.
Your favorite topic of the night.
At least it's not arenas. I'll say that.
You'll like this. I promise.
All right. Go ahead and slide on out of here. I'll see you later. Bye, honey.
Oh, my
God. Anyways,
let's get down to talking about some good old-fashioned monster trucking. It was a killer show in Arlington. I'm not going to lie, y'all. It was a great show.
It definitely was probably one of the best shows of the year, I have to say.
Yeah, no doubt. The racing aspect of it, I mean, you look at the end credits, it's Ryan Anderson wins racing, but there was some damn good racing going on. Going into the show, we know that Camden Murphy last weekend won both nights, Saturday and Sunday show of racing. So he's coming into this show 8-0. Goes into qualifying on Friday. I'm pretty sure he sets the fastest time for qualifying. Wins first round of racing against Adam Anderson.
Yeah, Adam Anderson.
Oh my gosh! If this wasn't like the pass of the year, this dude was on rails, Austin. This guy was skating around the track. I mean, this guy was going 88 miles an hour in a Chicago-style course at AT&T Stadium. I thought he was going back to the future for a little bit in the first round of racing. The guy was on rails. I was so surprised. Going into the second round, however, and I won't say much more about it, Camden had some bugs to work out.
Oh, no.
And
okay.
it definitely messed up his second round of racing. And who else would break Camden's, I don't know if you would call it a curse or his streak, none other than Dave Too Tall Olford in Jurassic Attack, laying down a solid pass, takes out Camden Murphy in racing, and then going into the semifinals, Too Tall loses to Ryan Anderson, who ends up winning racing overall against Corey Rummel and Rage. And that was a racing. And then, Harley, you saw Ryan gets out of the truck. He makes a speech, talks about how his uncle had just passed away, a few days prior. And it was very emotional in his speech. It was really cool to listen to him just, be humble. I mean, not that he's never humble, but what am I trying to say here? Just be vulnerable in front of that crowd. And it was really cool to see. We go into the skills competition. Harley,
I have clips of the skills.
Why don't you go ahead and start playing some clips of the skills, and I'll let you talk about the skills since I kind of talked about racing.
Okay, give me 1 second to pull this up.
Okay. I was just going to say that I personally thought there was a great variety in the skills competition. It wasn't like everybody was going out there trying to do the exact. So, I mean, I don't know. I'll kind of let you take it from here, darling.
What, talking about skills? Okay.
This is a bit laggy.
This is intros, and then skills will start right after this. But skills, honestly, there was a variety of, different skills going out there. It still was, the same thing almost every truck that went out there and did something. It put your daughter to sleep. That's all I got to say.
It did.
Yeah. Go figures.
About halfway through skills, Kinley was like, no, I'm done. She just fell asleep right in my arms. So,
and do you blame her?
Cynthia was the first to go out. So, I mean, we started skills competition off, with a rollover, which I thought was interesting. But,
I thought it was 2-wheel skills challenge, not, Turtle the Truck challenge.
Well, what I was going to piggyback off of was, okay, so after that rollover, then this guy right here, my gosh, I don't know why he thought he had to do a 9-minute long donut in skills competition.
Because of comments, of course.
And there goes a motor. Go figures.
And pops a motor. But there's too much delay with the skills competition, and there is
a little bit of a delay. There's not enough going on, I feel like, to grab a kid's attention at least. Like I saw that with Kinley, like she got bored very easily when this was happening. There's just not enough wow factor going on, I think, for kids. But I don't know. That's just my opinion.
It seems like there's a lot of people there, unless it's just the lighting and there's just a lot of empty seats. But it seems like there's a pretty decent amount of people in those seats.
It's funny that you say that because there was in the lower level section of the stadium. There was a lot of people there. They didn't allow people to sit up in the nosebleed section of the stadium. So the entire nosebleed section, all the way wrapped around, they didn't allow any seating in. It just kind of makes it easier for maintenance. You don't have to send an entire cleanup crew to go clean out, one section of the stadium. They just, hey, we got seats down here. We'll move y'all up. It makes it easier on us, and y'all get a better seat in the long run. So, I mean, that's why they did that. And here you're going to see my man Tyler Duke ride a bicycle for half a mile around the stadium. That was pretty cool.
I was going to say, it looks like he was going to take it right into the tunnel. But still,
you got a video of Jeff when he was doing that?
Yeah, when Todd was doing his bicycle, Jeff was leaning as Todd was leaning in the truck. So that was pretty funny to watch.
So as far as breakage goes, because you were actually sitting with the all the crew chiefs and everything, Tweety, like actually wrenching this weekend, which probably must have felt good, getting back there and working on the trucks. Was there a lot of breakage wise amongst the company trucks? Because I saw after the event, Too Tall was missing a big key element to Drastic Attack after Freestyle.
Let's just say it was a really, really good show, man. Like I said, the Freestyle, it didn't seem like you were watching the same thing over and over again in Freestyle. There was a good mixture of everything, like Too Tall ripping the body off. And, he only rolled over at the very end of Freestyle, and that was after his body was already gone. Yeah. I mean, he had a wild freestyle. We'll get into that in a minute, but you're going to see the man of the entire weekend right here, Ryan Anderson, do another long-ass bicycle. And then this was kind of, he's going for his typical sidewall save and kind of got too carried away with it, but brought her back up.
How in the world? Goodness.
Win skills competition. So, attaboy Ryan going out there winning racing and skills right off the bat. And right there, or I think it was right there.
It had to have been right there. Yeah, because he was done after that.
Yep. Mike Christensen broke a champagne on the red line.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just a freak thing, man.
Cut his freestyle short.
It was a huge bummer. I know he was pumped going into that freestyle, but check out Armando unleashing the bull and had a tremendous freestyle.
This was his best stadium freestyle to date, for sure.
I gotta be honest, I was very skeptical about seeing Armando like stepping into stadiums like as a full-fledged driver, but he's proven me wrong. Honestly, I cannot wait to see what he's capable of doing in 2022.
He freaking killed it this weekend, man.
This right here, the sidewalls. I mean, he's at 1, 2 and a half sidewall rotations.
Armando, if you're watching tonight, if you can listen, if you can hear me right now, what cologne do you wear, bro? Because you smell fantastic after the show. And I don't know how you do that. Anybody knows that when a driver gets out of the cockpit of a truck after a long, hot show, they stink from 10 feet away. You can smell them. This guy smelled like he just walked straight out of freaking, Polo, Ralph Lauren or something. Just smelled amazing. So what cologne do you wear, man?
Anyway, goodness.
Anyway, moving on to the freestyle winner here of the night, Cynthia, with her crazy run and about to do this crazy backflip and a save.
We have actually seen this exact same move once before this year, and it almost happened in the exact same fashion. Check this out, Spence. You'll love this.
Double soft rollover, open diff. Didn't Todd do something similar?
Yep, did that exact same thing, I believe, in Tampa. And Eric, go ahead and pause the video real quick, Harley, because I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk a bit about the mechanic side behind of what happened there. So she does her backflip, she hits nose first, okay, right then and there. I don't know if her getting on the throttle, if it broke the locker or if the locker actually came undone in the front end, because that happens sometimes. A locker can actually come undone because it's not a spool where it will never come undone, but a locker you can actually undo. Okay, I've said that plenty of times now. Sometimes that happens, and she gets on the throttle and she's on the nose. That's what caused that spin round, because she had power to one wheel, not both wheels, and she did a little donut on the front end. And they cut her short right after that. I don't know. I guess there's something else that broke on the truck that was obvious to a higher up. They shut her off. That was it. And so I don't know if she ended up actually breaking the third in that truck or not, snapping the locker. But sometimes it just happens. But it was a really cool move. Had everybody on their feet. You obviously saw Armando at the end of that video. He was going crazy. Everybody behind us was on their feet. It was a really cool move, and she was pumped afterwards. And then this guy had to follow this. How do you follow that? Well, he did it, and he did a damn good job of it. This guy's out here catching some major air. Right before the show, I actually did some stitching on the fiberglass of this truck, drilled some holes, put in some zip ties because I didn't want the body to fly off. And you
missed a spot.
Yeah,
that
he missed a couple spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely no damn good. But this guy, look at this dude. I mean, too tall, crewing for 10 years, finally gets a shot, his call up to the big leagues, has a terrible weekend in his first stadium event last year.
There it goes.
At this point, the crowd is on their feet. I mean, women, children, all the parents in the stadium going nuts, watching the dinosaur shed its skin. And check this wheelie out, just going all out.
Dude, just such a nice combo, too. And then this just bit him right here. But you said this was at the end of time when he rolled it over?
It was basically the end of his time.
Yeah, there were maybe 5-10 seconds left in the run. I mean, people thought if he would hit a backflip, he would have won freestyle because his run was just all out. But, I mean, regardless, I don't even think it really needed it. It was a really good run. And this guy right here, I was really impressed with his run. Only coming back for his second stadium event. Or no, I guess this is his third event now. And just laying down a killer freestyle. I mean, killer. Another one you could have said, hey, if he hit the backflip, could have possibly won. But this right here, bit him at the end. I don't know if they shut him off.
I think they shut him off.
Oh, yep. Too close to the wall there.
Technically, if you hit a dumpster at Monster Jam, that is building damage, Spence.
Really?
It is.
If you hit a dumpster?
Yes, it is. If you hit a dumpster, because they rent those dumpsters. If they take them back and it's bent or whatever, Todd the Duke lays on the ass end right here, bends a 4-link. They shut him off almost immediately afterwards. Couldn't continue his run. You'll love Mr. Excitement. He's the only one who did that move right there all night, going from pod to pod, or to my knowledge. Up until
crossing it up a little bit. We need more of that. We need to see more cross-threading, honestly.
Jim Kohler had a fantastic run.
He did. He really had a good run last night.
He hit the mini flip really late in his run.
Like to where it just didn't count in freestyle. Whoa. That's not even
he's done. And then what the hell was that? How did he roll over?
If he would have just stayed off the throttle, he probably would have saved that. But one of those things when you're in the moment, it's like, maybe if I throttle out of this, nope.
Yeah,
too much throttle at the end.
But hey, I'm guessing Bryce Kenny kept all 4 wheels on at the end of this show.
Bryce had a great freestyle as well. Everybody did great last night. I mean, the biggest bummer was that Mike broke a champagne, 2 hits into his run. I think maybe other than that, though, everybody's freestyle was phenomenal. I don't know, Mike would have laid down a killer run as well because he was so damn pumped going into this. It's just a freak thing. You can't do anything about it. The rest of that truck was held up. It's just there might have been a hairline fracture in that champagne. Nobody knew anything about it, and you're not going to, especially if it's on the bottom of the damn champagne. So
then this guy comes out and lays down. I think for me personally, overall, it was a better freestyle run, but I can understand why Cynthia won because she had that crazy save with her backflip.
This is actually what I thought was kind of cool. Is I think she understood that too. Yeah. So when we were sitting up in the crew seating and all the drivers were coming and they were hanging out with us as well, she understood that Ryan went out there and absolutely burned the joint down, expecting him to take the lead. When they didn't say that he was in the lead after his freestyle, she was like ducking down and she was like, oh no, everybody's going to hate me now.
There actually was people booing.
Check this out. Boom.
Whoa, what was that?
The brake rotor just popped right there. That was so freaking badass to see in person. And then this guy, Harley.
Adam came out and had the biggest air the whole night. Like maybe, every jump he hit, he had the biggest air out of everybody.
Maybe the year, possibly. I mean, in some of these hits.
Possibly.
Going out there giving Ryan a nudge. You see Ryan recording him the whole time, talking smack.
I gotta say though, after seeing the points at the end of the show, I was surprised to see Gravedigger not in the top 5. That was very, very shocking.
Look at the air though, dude.
Holy crap! No kidding.
One thing I was impressed with that truck, with the Gravedigger truck, was when he goes out and he drives like that, and that truck is still holding up. That's the tip of the hat to the crew chief, Nick Mole, wrenching on that truck, keeping it strong all weekend long. And boy, it did. That was one of those freestyles that, me personally, I think his freestyle could have won. He didn't even have to backflip. It it was so clean. The momentum was there. I thought something that was kind of interesting was people was just talking about how Ryan, when he gets in his corners and he does his drifting, as everybody likes to call, so famously, when he drifts in the stadiums, his foot is to the floor. He is throttling out. Never lit, and it's so graceful. It's just like he's out there on ice skates. Just
I mean, did you
track?
We saw what he can do on pavement with the Hoonigan video that he did in such a small confined space, and he's still drifting a 12,000-pound monster truck like it's nothing. I mean, his throttle rhythm and his control of that truck is absolutely insane.
Let's talk about this comment right here, Harley. This one breaks my heart.
Yeah, so I saw a post that they did the engine swap on Max D, but something was overlooked, and I guess he wasn't able to come back.
They did the entire engine swap. You had independents back there helping Tom get back in time. They actually had the truck fired. It was ready to go back out, and there was an issue with the mag, and I believe the TPS sensor, if I heard that correctly, last night, and it wasn't going to be able to perform. It was right at the time that he was supposed to go out anyways. Even though they fired it, it wasn't going to work. And that was it. That was all she wrote. When I heard that, absolutely broke my heart, because this was the last weekend for Josh Dyke, longtime crew chief, Tom Mintz, Maximum Instructions, his last show. He's going to be helping out the shop for the next couple of weeks, but this was his last show. That guy has been put to the test anytime Tom's go out there and blew an engine. And he put that on his Facebook today, how many times he's actually done a successful engine swap mid-show. Got that truck back in time, and his very last show ever was humbled in that experience that he wasn't able to do that. I mean, instantly all of our hearts were just shattered, because it was like, this guy busting his balls so many years for Tom, and something just such as a faulty part, going back into that brand new engine. It was heartbreaking. Now, I will say this though, Josh Dyke, for everything that you have done, not only for the Paxton crew, but for anybody who's ever come up to Monster Jam University, they've been able to learn from you, to pick your brain. All the guys throughout the years who are now crew chiefs, working their way up in the ranks, whether they're at Monster Jam or they're even driving monster trucks somewhere else. If this is it for you, and it's probably not going to be, Harley, I imagine you'll see Josh Dyke in the independent world next few years, or who knows, maybe even next year, doing some wrenches and some things and hanging out here and there. But if this is all, this is it for you at Monster Jam, you're never coming back, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for Monster Jam, especially for all the boys at Paxton. We appreciate you, man. Class act, and we all look up to you.
Dude, without a doubt. Some of my fondest memories, because obviously ride trucking, you don't get to wrench on race trucks as much as like you have, Tweety. But some of my favorite memories of being on the shows at Monster Jam was actually doing some of these engine swaps on Tom's truck, and I was always there with Josh Dyke, and just learning, and just so much detail and so much knowledge that guy has for, being in the industry as long as he has. I mean, I'm not, as nimble as some of these other guys in the back. But, I was there to actually help out and do a couple engines. I remember doing an engine change in Houston. I remember one in Denver, and I remember helping out with one of the California shows. I mean, we go to California so much, but I mean, it's such a good dude, and he's always willing to help people learn. Because if you're one of those type of people where you get into monster trucks and you come off as like everything, nobody's going to help you. It's sink or swim. But if you are one of those type of people that you're willing to learn, and you have one of these higher ups that have been doing this for a while, they'll help you out 1,000%. And I can say a lot of the stuff I learned from Dyke, I'll hold on to for a very, very long time.
Dyke's a good guy. And I mean, we're talking about him, it's his last show is a big deal. But I want to talk about all these crew guys in the back. Every single one of them this past weekend, we're all pitching in, doing their part. Like I said, there was independent guys working on Max D, trying to get it back in time for Freestyle. To my knowledge, there were 2 transmissions that went out during the competition last night. There are some other, minor things going on as well. All these trucks are out there making the rounds. I mean, the crew guys were on it this weekend at Monster Jam in Arlington. I was stunned just to see the team, because I mean, we all know there's guys out there that just don't get along. There's guys out there that don't work well together. The chemistry's not there. That didn't seem to be the case this past weekend in Arlington, Texas. All these guys, every single one of them, back there working hard, busting their ass. And I just want to say for a minute, anybody who was a part of that engine swap with Tom, I mean, especially like Cooper and Josh Dyke, and anybody who's really tight with that crew, especially, they were almost like just so comfortable doing the engine swap. When I went back there during halftime to just kind of look over the Team Throttle Monster trucks, they were back there rocking out. They were listening to music. I think they had the radio going before they even had Tom's truck back there, pulling out the engine, getting it ready, before the truck was even loaded back there. I mean, just so comfortable. Hey, we know how to do this. We're getting back in time. I was imagining those boys were back there by the time Tom was ready for freestyle, taking a damn smoke break and just relaxing. But obviously that wasn't the case because there were some other things that occurred, faulty parts, going back into the truck or whatnot. But just some bad dudes back there this past weekend at Monster Jam in Arlington.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing I do obviously we like to talk about Dyke and all the crew guys, but having a good crew chief goes a long way. And I think we need to give somebody else a little bit of praise, but Mr. Josh Woodard rocking it out with Cynthia this weekend. We know he was, I think he was Tristan's crew chief for a little bit when he was piloting Megalodon.
He was.
To my knowledge, he still is.
And then he goes and fills in for Cynthia, and Cynthia wins. Josh Woodard also Lindsay Reed's crew chief when she won the not the Young Guns competition, the Double Down competition in Orlando, and the Freestyle Champion. So having a good experienced crew chief can take a driver a long way. It's not so much just the driver and what they're capable of. If you have a crew chief that's got your back as much as you got theirs, anything is possible. So if Woodard is going to remain Tristan's crew chief going into 2022, that duo right there is going to be walking away with a ton of hardware.
Breaking some hearts, I guess you could say.
Yeah, breaking some hearts.
Why I wanted to put some emphasis on Nick Mole was because I'm not saying that the chemistry wasn't there or anything like that. That's not it at all. But at the beginning of the year, he and Adam Anderson started working together. They were just running into some issues that they just couldn't. I mean, when we were there, that was this past, was it March or February?
In March, yeah.
And that was when Adam was going into the very last race of the season, the last show of the season, and losing in round one of racing because the outer axle broke. And it was like, can't do anything about that. Yeah. But that stuff happens. And it's nice to see towards the end of the year, hey, we've got the truck guy. Of course, he's in a completely different chassis going back into Gravedigger, who's in Megalodon this first quarter. But, that chemistry's there. You start building that trust with that person, with your crew chief. And like you were saying, Spence, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. Definitely gets overlooked having a good crew chief in your corner and that team aspect of it. Hey, it's effing teamwork, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if I had to give my picks, obviously Nick Mole, great dude. If he's going to remain with Adam, that's going to be another team to beat. Obviously Tristan and Woodard. And then obviously you can't count out Jeff Sin and Todd LeDuc. I mean, let's be honest. Sin's been doing this a long time.
We were talking about that at the show this week. And I mean, we don't know if it's 100% sure that Cody Saucier is going to be back next year. That's not necessarily been confirmed. Monster Jam put that on their schedule, and we've not heard anything about it on any of Cody Saucier's social media. So, I mean, I'm just wondering, I mean, is Jeff going to be with Cody next year? Is he going to be with Todd? I mean, I think either way, he might be in a Monster Energy truck, assuming they re-sign their deal. That's not official yet. So I think whoever is fortunate enough to land Jeff Sin as their crew chief, they're going to be in good hands as well. Next weekend, going into Houston, I think Cooper is crewing for Tom Mintz. And I know Cooper's going to do a damn good job. He's proven that once before, already being his crew chief, filling in for Josh Dyke. So I don't know. The Paxton crew is changing quite a bit. We saw that Lexi Warner is no longer with Monster Jam this past weekend. Did you see that, Spence?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I miss the Paxton shop, even though I wasn't nearly as close with them as you are. Like, they're just such a good group of dudes, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss seeing them. I'm gonna miss seeing them in the back.
Yeah, Lexi Warner, daughter of Chuck Warner, driver of the Crazy Bull and Maximum Destruction for a long time. Lexi Warner, who crewed for Monster Mutt Galaxy this year, crewed for, I also believe, Kayla Blood.
Yeah.
And she, announced that she was leaving Monster Jam as well. I believe she's already out now. But, I mean, the crew, the faces of all the crew guys and gals are changing drastically by the week right now. I mean, by the end of the year, we could be seeing a completely different team, a lot of new people. Yeah. People are going to be coming out of the woodwork to be crewing for Monster Jam.
The only thing is there's not a lot of experienced guys that are still there. So like Jeff Sin is a great teacher. However, There's only so much time left, and if you're going to have an abundance of new people joining in to crew and work on these trucks, there's not nearly enough time to make them crew chiefs or to make them third guys, because a monster truck is a completely different beast compared to something on an oval track or on a straight line course. There is a whole nother monster, no pun intended.
Well, we'll talk about more about going in the Houston show on Wheels Up Wednesday. And not going to lie, y'all, I got a phone call 30 minutes before showtime tonight. And I'm going to say the bare minimum about it, but let's just say it's more of a topic for Wheels Up Wednesday. And wow. It is a little more of a stir in the pot.
So make sure you watch our Wednesday episode
to
find out what exactly he's talking about.
Wednesday could potentially be epic. I mean, it's a good one. Like I said, 30 minutes before showtime tonight, I was cramming down my burger just right before we were going on air.
Do you want to tell them what burger you had tonight for dinner?
No, I don't, because it was very...
No, please tell us. Please. I need to hear. What is it?
I had In-N-Out for dinner tonight.
What?
Yeah.
In-N-Out?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie. I thought In-N-Out was only a California thing. I didn't know they were in Texas.
Well, all the people from California,
there's one right around the corner from us.
People started moving away from California and coming here, and they brought it with them.
Yep.
All right. So, do you have a new favorite burger joint? Is that what you're saying?
Not.
To be honest, it was like our last resort in finding dinner tonight. Every other drive-through had a long ass line, and then In-N-Out did not. So,
see, I got lucky. So, out for our anniversary dinner, me and Katie, God love this woman because she loves sushi. I love burgers. And she found this restaurant in the middle of Chelsea, Michigan that specializes in both. Like I had like some $20 Wagyu beef. Like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. And she had this little pallet of sushi. We're just both like living our best life. And with food in our mouth, we're like, happy anniversary. So yeah, if Denver ever can't Five Guys, I hope you mean the burger place.
I think he means the burger place.
It's going to last all right here.
I'm ashamed of you, Treaty. That is wrong. You are on my prayer list tonight.
Cameron, you can blame me for that one. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But hey, if you're a huge fan of the In-N-Out or Whataburger, we both have parody designs on our website on the throttleoutshow.com, both Throttle Out Burger and West Coast. So if you want to represent the show and represent one of your favorite burger joints, go and purchase one today. If you could.
Hell yeah. Now, Harley, you got some video footage, I believe, of a team out there on the West Coast you were going to share.
Yeah. So this past weekend, Lee Plato and Shane Plato got to drive together for the first time.
Dude, that's cool. A little dual freestyle.
Yep.
That is awesome.
First time father and son are in their trucks and driving with each other. It's a pretty cool moment.
That's cool. A little hold on Speedway show. I mean, it don't get no better than that, honestly. But hey, it seems like I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like Lee Plato's handling that brand new truck quite well. Actually,
I was shocked just to see him in his first weekend out here a few weeks ago. That guy looks like he's already got a handle on that truck, looking good. I mean, obviously Shane's out there already killing it, but I mean that truck that Lee is driving, that's a brand new piece. So, I mean, they're looking like they're doing all right out there, man. They're having some fun out there. They are having some fun. Scattered and Soul Crusher.
That's what it's all about. Now, here's what I thought was kind of funny, because we were kind of talking about this, because he had potentially a 3-truck team previously, and then they sold the 3rd truck, and to my understanding, they didn't have a hauler for these trucks just yet. I think they were just flat trailing them around, but I mean, hey, that's a good idea. Buy a 3rd truck, sell the 3rd one, and get yourself a really nice hauler to move the dual trucks around with.
They'll make it work, whatever they got to do, man. They're already on it. I know they got their eyes set on a hauler. If it's not already bought, it will be bought here pretty soon. But they're on the move out there. Still looking for a full-time crew person. Keep that in mind, y'all. You want to work your way into the business, get a hold of Lee Plato out there on the West Coast. And if you like In-N-Out Burger, you'll really like working out there on the West Coast.
I just couldn't do $6 a gallon for gas. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about living out there is paying for gas, honestly.
Gas, taxes, everything on the southern part of California. I saw that they sold the Mini to the Z Tour. Oh boy. I really hope the Z2er is smart with that rather than just putting a bunch of random kids into a mini monster truck. That is just a recipe for disaster right there. We bought Terry Woodcott's Swallow. He just needs it for another few weeks. 53-footer, triple drop, holiday trucks, red straight. I don't know if I'm reading that, if I'm having a stroke. I hope I'm reading that correctly.
Well, he's basically just saying when you're driving a rig like that, you don't necessarily need a CDL.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's technically registered as an RV, so you don't have to have a CDL.
Yeah, after I figured that out, I've been shopping for rigs because I was telling Katie, I'm like, what's the point of buying a Super Duty or something? Let's just buy a rig and register it as an RV, and we're set. We're good to go.
But nonetheless, it was an awesome weekend in monster trucks. It was really good to get back there and wrench with these guys. And honestly, I think
you want to tell them how late you spent putting the trucks back together.
Let's just say we were in the parking lot of AT&T Stadium so late last night that if we would have stayed there any longer, there would have been roosters crowing. Okay.
Yeah.
You sound like you're a little rusty there, Tweety, because that was a normal thing.
There have been roosters crowing. People who were working the night shift was really looking forward to being off in about 30 minutes. I mean, let's just say we were there late. And it was
You left when, like, all the fast food restaurants were opening up for their breakfast menu, basically.
Yes, I was. Yeah.
So that's perfect timing then.
Yeah.
We pulled a late one. We were the last crew, to my knowledge, to pack up and get out of there. But I mean, we had a lot to deal with. We had to fix the damn. You can't get the truck in the trailer without a wheel on the front. So we did what we could to get that wheel back on there. Stuff was fighting us from oh my gosh! As soon as we took the damn wheel off the truck, instantly the truck was fighting us. We couldn't get the planetary off for whatever reason. It was like locked in there. Well, we got it off at the expense of gear oil being just poured all over yours truly over here. Thanks a lot, Mike Christensen.
I'm pretty sure those clothes are still sitting in the trunk of my car. So my car smells great right now.
Yeah, it was awesome. Me and Mike, we were prying off the planetary, hitting the sumbitch, trying to get the pry out. Ashton Jensen, if you're listening, you were supposed to catch that. And instead, it fell. And it fell hard. And it hit the side of the oil pan. Splashed all over me. Thanks a lot, Ashhole.
Is that going to be a new shirt? We're just going to make Ashhole. I could give one to my sister. Perfect.
Thanks, Ashhole. Yeah, so I had to go get all cleaned up and then get back to wrenching. But it was fun. I mean, it was – people go see a shrink. They go talk to a therapist. They'll go sit in a quiet room. And for me – working on monster trucks was therapeutic for me. I really enjoyed it. I was almost just, crying happy tears as I was back there wrenching on trucks, trying to relearn everything, trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to need a 7/16 for this. No, I'm going to need an 1/8 for this. Make sure you get the 1/16 wrench for this nut. And I don't know, it was cool. Just kind of get back there, knocking the rust off and hanging out with the guys. Because, I mean, we weren't necessarily in a rush. No, we didn't want to be there all night, but it was going to be that way anyways. So we just enjoyed it.
And you met Kermit for the first time.
Hell yeah, man, Kermit. I was just telling Harley and Kinley bye because they were going to head back to the hotel. And I I swear I could hear Kermit before I saw him. Hey, Austin! I was driving the quad down the sidewalk. And I see Wayne and I see his entourage and Monster Jam Lord is there with him and just hung out, shot the shit with him for a little bit. And I also made a new friend this weekend, Will Ketterer. He was crewing with Team Scream. It was his first weekend out for Monster Jam stuff, and hit it off with him. What a great kid! I'm sorry, Will. I swore he said he was 20 years old or 21 years old, but another young cat just getting into Monster Jam. I think he'll be a good fit for them. He's got a great attitude, and as long as he's willing to learn the ropes and learn at the expense of basically never sleeping and being dirty all the time, I think he'll fit in just well up there with those guys.
So overall, overall, it was a good weekend, right? I mean, you're not too sore to where you need to call into work tomorrow. You don't need a foot massage or a back rub or nothing like that.
No, everything hurts.
Harley's giving you the stink eye there for a minute. I think.
Well, you're over here offering foot rubs and massages. I mean, you want to come do that? I'm not doing that.
I'd rather not. I'm still trying to get my wife to give me foot massages after work.
No, it was an awesome show. It was a great show. It was great just, meeting up with everybody. Once again, I missed all the crew guys. I missed everybody working in the back at the Monster Jam shows. The real reason that these shows even happen, even just the guys with Dirt Crew. I mean, it was good to get back there and shaking everybody's hand, and it was nice. It was really nice. Her and I are trying to figure out, can we make it work to go to Houston next weekend already, because we had such a damn good time.
Well, how far is Houston away from you guys?
What's that, Spence?
I said, how far is it away for you guys to go to Houston? Is it a good couple hour drive?
It's probably 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, make the trip.
The longest part of the trip is going to be getting into Houston and fighting all the traffic trying to get into Houston. That's going to add probably an hour on.
Well, is it just like traffic in Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's nothing we don't know.
Yeah, it sucks.
Honestly, Houston's kind of one of my favorite venues because I love the big open parking lot. You kind of got that space to work on everything. All the rigs could fit back there. You don't have people trying to yell at you. Well, sometimes you got people trying to yell at you from the balcony. But anyway, I always really enjoy going to Houston. I mean, I think I've done 7 or 8 shows total at Houston with my time at Monster Jam in 2 years. So I always love that venue.
This time of the year, the weather in Houston's phenomenal. So I don't think that'll be an issue unless it's going to rain a lot down there. Did you see that Matt Pagliarulo's daughter drove the – can you put the comment up?
Yes.
The house scale smoke.
Maybe it's supposed to be Skull Crusher this weekend. They named Little Crusher. I guess she was doing really good until some breakage.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Seems to be a common theme with the Pagliarulos. There's always some breakage going on.
Always.
I did know that because the Pags were at Hunsader Farms this past weekend, right, Harley?
Mm-hmm.
And Spence, you probably know where that's at. Remember Hunsader Farms?
Yeah, that was where they basically had the little anytime there's a quote unquote brand new truck, but basically anytime Monster Jam had a brand new chassis, they would basically any chassis that was too beat up or too far gone to really put any more repairs into it, they would just swap everything over onto the brand new chassis, take it out to. I think they rent out a field. They basically have a pod out there just to make a couple jumps to make sure everything's working okay and just kind of shake it down. That's actually where I had to go to get certified to drive a ride truck. They said I had to have 20 consecutive driving hours in order to be qualified to drive a Monster Jam ride truck. So literally for 10 hours straight in 2 days, I'm doing circles and donuts in the middle of this cornfield. And I swear I lost about 2 inches on my height for doing that for 2 days straight in a truck with no suspension whatsoever.
See, there's a Toughest Monster Tour in Beaumont, Texas this weekend.
I believe that's where Team Throttle Monster is going to be this weekend.
How far is Beaumont, Texas?
Beaumont? It's right outside of Houston.
Oh, never mind.
Go to both.
Go to both.
There's 2 of you. One go to one go to the other. Just saying.
We're not superheroes, Spence.
What are you talking about? Your parent. They're the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm basically out of information over here. I know we're going to have a good Wheels Up Wednesday episode. And I will say this. You watch our shows weekly. You want to be a part of it somehow. This Wheels Up Wednesday is your moment. You can hop on air with us. You can ask a question. Come on live with us, or you can send it beforehand if you want. That's fine too. But if you actually want to join the show, you want to be a part of the show with us this Wednesday, message us. We'll get you on. You can ask a question, talk about something that's just been breaking your heart, something you want to get off your chest. We'll talk about it on Wheels Up Wednesday, and I think it'll be a really fun episode.
Well, I'm glad you just now cleared that with the rest of the group, so this ought to be interesting.
Yeah. This is the first we're hearing of it too, guys.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh,
we're gonna have a fun episode on Wednesday.
We also got Spence's, show segment, and then
we got
is Taylor doing another wheel?
He is. He's finishing up because if you guys didn't tune in the last Wednesday episode that we had, he got artist choice for any truck that he gets to choose, and the theme is Frankenstein. He still won't tell me what truck for sure that he's choosing. He's leaning towards some truck that has arms. Could be Zombie, could be the Hulkster, could be Samson. That's all I know. But it's going to have some kind of a Frankenstein theme. But yes, he says he's going to do another one. He actually just released, I believe he released this one today, old Jack-o'-lantern Zombie. So if you want to check out the full piece, go to his page on Instagram or on Facebook, either Taylor Andes or Jam Customs Official, to check it out. Super awesome piece, super detailed. I mean, he's just killing it. I cannot wait to see what the generator comes up with this time. It seems like it was really nice to him this last week, but you never know.
Well, that's basically all we got over here. Spence, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to go and have some dessert with the wife, and I don't know, maybe watch a movie, go to sleep, and then throw packages for 12 hours straight tomorrow.
Well, hey, happy anniversary to y'all, man. I'm so fortunate that y'all are in our lives. And for those of y'all who tuned in tonight, thanks for watching. Head over to our website, throttleoutshow.com. We have new work hats available, all black. It says Throttle Out Show. They are fitted hats as well, super comfortable. And go check that out, thethrottleoutshow.com. Remember, when in doubt, throttle out. Peace out, y'all. Good night.